understanding the art of public speaking. We can't talk about public speaking without talking about communication. We need to understand that life thrives on communication. And we always have to come down from our high horses, reach out to people, don't be proud, don't have chips on your shoulders. Communication is simply the key to any successful business that involves interacting in public, like we're doing here. And public speaking is a difficult activity for a lot of us, that's the truth. But it's of great importance in every event like we have here today. However, as a person, you will have to constantly present your brand to people, your sponsors or your prospective investors, and you must always do it the right way. When we talk about public speaking, there's something called public speaking fears. A lot of people have that. You have the external fears, you have the internal fears. And I've had people say to me, they have this fear of the microphone. I used to have a colleague who works on TV. She's a TV presenter, and I do radio. Each time we bring her on to come add value to radio, and she says to me, I'm looking at this microphone and I'm scared, but I'm like, you're on TV. You use a microphone also. You don't have to be scared of the mic, and that's what I say to her. Pretend that there's no microphone and just be yourself. Public speaking, yes, it's about being yourself, but you've got to be conscious of quite a number of things. Let's talk about the external fears. There could be the importance of the stakes involved. It could be your career, it could be your status, you could be wondering who it is that you're talking to. It could be a house full of people like we have here. It could be one or two persons. Some people find it difficult to talk to people, even having a one-to-one conversation or discussion. It could be the size and the composition of the audience. I know there are people from all walks of life here today. But you need to understand that the idea is for you to crystallize what it is you want to talk about and put it down somewhere. Some of us think that having to write things down means that you're stupid. No. For those who are in the media, radio, TV, it's about having a script, and that's why I respect one particular man, a man called Jones Hussein. That's a man who's in his 70s. He never goes on air without a script. So as a public speaker, you must always have things written down. It could be the time of the day. Some people are better in the morning, and some are better off in the evening. It depends. So you need to discover who you are before you take to public speaking. Your personal state of emotional well-being is something you can also talk about when we talk about external fears. Now, if we look at the internal fears that some people face when we talk about public speaking, there could be nervousness. Who has ever thought about this idea of when you're called up to talk, even when the room is cold, you're sweating? So it's about doing it over and over, and you get used to it. Other internal fears include fear of being judged. People will always judge you, that's the truth. Nobody is perfect, so bear that in mind. You're worrying what others think about you. It could be the fear of going off your script. We always do that. You have a script. Sometimes you tend to veer off the script, but always remember to bring yourself back. It could be forgetting your words. It happens to all of us. Even after 21 years in the business of broadcasting, I still find that sometimes you're looking for a particular word when you're on the job, doing the job. It could be the fear of your target audience. So we look at some of the things, some of the tips that you should have in mind for those who are thinking of going into public speaking or those who want to perfect the art of public speaking. It's important for you to define your goal clearly. That's the truth. Before you engage in any public speech, you need to ask yourself first, what do I want to accomplish with my speech? This will simplify your writing or your planning process and help you clearly define the main objective of your speech. always express yourself with simplicity. Yes, I know a lot of people want to be like our uncle from Edo State, or Bayago. You want to speak all the big grammar. But how do you use such verbose and very heavy words if the people you're talking to do not understand what you're saying? So it's important for you to, when you speak in public, your audience need to understand one or two ideas from what it is that you're trying to get across. Sometimes when we set out to speak, there's just one person I know who can talk from now till tomorrow without a sheet of paper. And that's a former colleague. She was my senior in the business, Cordelia Okwe. She used to work with Radio Nigeria. Cordelia is one person I saw on the job. She might not come to the studio with a script, but she's going to deliver. She's speaking to an audience. She doesn't have a script. She will put her points across. Many people are born with the gift of the gab. We're not all born with it. Some of us learn it in the course of the job. Always make sure that your assertions are short when you're delivering a public speech. Don't make it too long. It's also necessary to divide your speech into what we call the introduction, the main points that are going to be expressed, and of course, the conclusion. It's important to also be brief. It's nice to be brief when you talk. You know, make it so short that people want to look forward to something. Usually, the duration of a good speech is at most 10 to 15 minutes. And your audience will be happier if you go straight to the point to prevent the speech from becoming boring. As I said earlier, it's important for us to avoid speaking for too long. You will notice that when I got here, I never used the words, let's stand or sit on existing protocol. What in the world is that? But you hear that in government circles, and you're asking yourself, who set the protocol in the very first place? So we need to move away from this thing we call the Nigerian English. I stand on existing protocol. Some will sit on existing protocol. What are we doing? At some point, we're all doing the wrong thing, and we're following people because we think they are government and they're getting it right. So when you come on, you want to say one or two things to people. It's important to know there are people who are pressed for time. They have things they're doing with their time. You cut it short and move on.